How's it going, everyone? Different video today. I want to talk about big mistakes that I made, and if I could go back, 15, 16 years ago, when I was just around the age of 15, starting off in the gym. I'm 30 now. I'm going to be 31 in November. So I've been training for well over 15 years. So someone asked me this question the other day: what would I change if I could go back and grab hold of myself when I was 15, just fresh entering the gym? What would I tell myself? And these are the three things that first come to mind. So I'm going to share these with you now, and hopefully it can help you out with your own training. So the first one that I'd change would be more of a actually looking at the nuts and bolts of how I used to train. Would be I started off on a bro split. Now I'm sure if you're watching this video you know what a bro split is, but it's where you train each muscle group once a week, and you have a Monday was back day, Tuesday was chest day, Wednesday was arm day, Thursday was leg day, and Friday was shoulders. And I used to rest Saturday, Sunday, so I'd train 5 days in a row. It was a bro split, and I'd done that for the first couple of years. So if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have started off with that, just because I was only hitting most muscle groups once a week. Major muscle groups were only getting hit once a week, especially things like the back and the legs. I was still getting crossover stimulus from like some of your pressing musculature, like the triceps might have been getting it twice a week, but for the most part, I wouldn't train with a blow split. I'd go right in with something along the lines of whether that be a full body split for the first year, or an upper lower split, where you're going to get frequent opportunities at stimulating the actual muscle tissue to grow, go through the adaptation and recovery cycle, and then come back again. Also, training a muscle group twice a week, or movement patterns twice a week, it just would have allowed me faster technical exposure to get better at a movement. As an example, if I was deadlifting once a week and squatting once a week, because I used to train legs once a week, if I would have done 2 lower body sessions as an example, I could have had 2 opportunities at getting better at squat patterns, 2 opportunities in a week at getting better at hinges and deadlifts. So it just would have made me progress a little bit faster. So that would be the first thing I'd go back. I wouldn't have done a bro split, and if I could go back and change that, I might have seen, well, I would have seen faster progress, and I would have been a little bit further along in the game. So that's the first big thing that I'd change. The second one, be more mindful of crossover stimulus. Now again, hence training with a bro split. I used to train, I remember it was back on Monday, chest on Tuesday, and I'd train arms on Wednesday. Now my triceps were still smoked from what I used to do on Tuesday with chest, and I'd come in on the Wednesday, the day after, with only 24 hours rest, and I'd be coming in doing tricep push downs and skull crushes. I remember it as clear as day. And there was one time I had a slight tear in my tricep. Up to this day, it's one of the only half serious injuries that I had. I couldn't do any pressing or push downs for a couple of weeks because of it, but I would put that down. It was nothing to do with technique. Technique was fine. I would put that down to the fact that I was training muscles without enough recovery. Like I was doing chest on a Tuesday and coming in doing triceps and biceps on the Wednesday. So it wasn't enough. I didn't understand why that happened, but now looking back, you can see there wasn't enough rest in between the sessions that I was doing on some things. So that would be one thing that I'd go back and just, as I say, it wouldn't be using the bro split, and I'd be mindful of the crossover stimulus. That's the beauty of things like upper lowers and full body splits, as an example. Even push pull legs, with an upper lower session, you're hitting if you do an upper body session, you hit your whole upper body, and you got 3 or 4 days recovery before you come back in again to smoke your upper body. Same with your legs. You hit your legs, you got 3 or 4 days again. The total lower body musculature of your quads, your hams, your glutes, calves, adductors, everything just rest for 3 or 4 days. Again, push-pull legs as well. You're training all of your pressing musculature in one session. A pull, it's all of your pull, legs, all of your, so it's a little bit easier to manage your crossover stimulus on those type of splits, more so than a bro split. So that'd be another thing that I would change. And then the third and final one, this is a big one. I will go back and tell myself not to get as fat on building phases or bulks, whatever you want to call them. As I say, if I've been in this game for 15 years, I've done my fair share of bulks. and I've got better at them every time. But the ones in the early days, man, I remember pushing upwards of 260 pounds, 120 kilo for me. Don't forget, I am 6'4", so I could get away with it a little bit more. I didn't look as bad because I was quite tall. There's a lot of surface area to fill out, but it was too heavy. As an example now, I'm at the peak of my gaining phase now. I'm around 105 kilos, 230 pounds, and this is a decent range. So you think if I was 260, 120 kilo, I had another 30 pounds of body fat on top of where I am now, and that's where I used to push my gaining phases, and it was too much, it was too excessive. But in that time frame, you don't know any different. You search in the bodybuilding.com, YouTube, all these forums back in the day, and everyone was like, oh, eat big to get big. There was not the information that we've got now to stop that from happening. I don't regret the bulk, so to speak, because they did help me, lay down all of my muscle tissue. I just wouldn't have been as aggressive in the weight gain and pushed it so far. So I'd go back and tell myself, look, start at a decently lean body composition and give yourself a runway of around 20-30 pounds above the leanest that you've got to. Don't push up excessively more than that. Give yourself a weight cap. So if you start lean, slowly push your body weight up around 20 to 30 pounds and around 1% of body weight per month. Don't go any more than that, and don't push it any further. Once you've set your limits, so let's say, for me, if I would have been, when I got to my leanest, if I was 200 pounds as an example, I should never have went from 200 to 260. No way. I should have went, right, I'm 200, let's cap this at 225, 230, let's get to there, and then we dial back down again, reset, and then go again. Don't push it excessively, gaining 50, 60 pounds, thinking this whole eat big to get big, because what happens is you just end up fat as fuck, and then you have to spend excessive time dieting back down, unraveling the excessive body fat that you've gained in it. It's not necessary. You need to bulk, yes, 100%. You 100% need to be in a surplus to lay down new muscle tissue, but not to the aggressive extent that I was. So that's what I go back and tell myself. Just be more controlled with the building phases. Set yourself a sort of weight limit, and again, a cap on rate of gain per month to around 1%. Get yourself to push up heavy-ish, but not too heavy, and then you diet back down. So that's 3 things I go back and tell myself. But just to caveat this video, what I will say, and I think this is missing from a lot of people's training nowadays, when I started in the gym, I absolutely loved it. I loved what I was doing. Even though it might not have been optimal, I love coming in and chasing progress. I just love coming in, getting after it, and that got me far. And I think a lot of people are missing that. They're missing the enjoyment with the training, the enjoyment, the consistency elements, being excited to come in and progress. And I remember being really, really excited to get in and do deadlifts of a Monday and all this stuff, and I really, really enjoyed it, and that's what got me hooked, and a lot of people missed that. So I would go back and say what I did do well was I really enjoyed my training, and got myself in a consistent groove of things. I was very, very disciplined with it. I never used to miss training, never, and that just snowballed into obviously where I am today. So there was definitely some plus points of what I've done. I got a good foundational base down of what it takes to actually progress and build muscle tissue, and you need to enjoy your training, of course. So, different little video for you today. If anybody is interested in online coaching, of course, and working with me directly, drop a comment down below, book a free call, link in my bio, and we can have a conversation. But other than that, drop a like down below, make sure you're subscribed, closing in on 2K subs, it's coming, and then keep an eye out for the future videos coming. All right, everyone, speak to you soon.